Why is it so important for women to seek out leadership positions, as in organizational leadership positions?
You know, I'm a 41-year-old woman. I've got 3 children. I've had to kind of recreate, you know, myself in some ways in order to survive, in order to, you know, provide for my children, in order to get ahead. But equally, I think that that's a challenge that faces
A
many,
lot of
many women.
women our age.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and you know, you'll relate to this as a mum as well. And you wouldn't be surprised to hear me saying, given my immense passion for nearly 2 decades for family learning, where parents and carers are learning alongside their children, you know, or to support their children's learning, I actually think, apart from the whole equality argument, which I'm completely sold on anyway, and to be fair, you know, I think there is a time and a place for, you know, the reverse argument. You know, I think
Yes.
sometimes men are right in saying, look, this is, you know, very one-sided, you know, we need to look at it both ways. But I personally think in terms of the leadership dynamic and looking at the figures in terms of females in senior positions in organisations, I actually feel a duty as a mother to model that kind of campaigning and, you know, navigating that system. I feel a duty as a mother intergenerationally to model that for my children, because I think, you know, look, none of us in the future, you know, especially given the current situation, you know, what we've been seeing the last few months, none of us really know what the future is going to look like, do we? There's all kinds of situations where we could end up having traditional career paths, traditional career sectors, you know, in terms of gender assignment or however you choose to define that, being completely reconfigured, you know.
Yes.
And in fact, I think there's a strong argument, more so than ever, that given the remote nature of the working that we're experiencing, who knows, maybe that's actually going to be an incredibly powerful force, you know, by not having that face to face in the way that we've always had. Maybe that is going to be more of a leveler. So I think that it is crucial because it is building the future talent pipeline for
Yes.
leaders. Whatever your views are, you know, about gender, about sex, whatever, you know, the reality remains that there are some deeply entrenched views
Yeah.
around who should accelerate at what rate into senior leadership positions. And I fundamentally disagree that there should be that link there. And I know I'm not alone. You as a start, I know you're very passionate about that. So yeah, I mean, I do think there's an intergenerational responsibility there.
Yes. Yes. I totally agree with you. There is that responsibility for us to uh, change things. We've had women that have helped us to get to where we are in the past. We can vote now, and that is an important thing. But for a long time, when you look at women's boards, and I've been looking at the research in terms of, I'm not going to go into the actual percentages here, but when you just look at whatever reviews are there, there's much less women in leadership positions in organizations.
Yeah.
But also, I'm looking around the world, and I'm, as you say, our children growing up, and what are we teaching them if all they can see is the woman is in the middle management? Let's give
Yeah.
an example of the just what's just happening right now on the front line. When you look at nurses and look at the health services, most of those middle management, lower management, and non-management roles are held by women. And then you see a lot of men at the top. There's something in there that needs to change as we go forward. It is very important for us as women to know and understand how we can help ourselves and how we can push ourselves forward.
Definitely, definitely. Definitely, yeah, I completely agree with you, Amina. And also, I think that very deeply entrenched with that, even if people don't talk about it often, is what, you know, generally there tends to be feedback that it's not a very feminine thing to do, to talk about money, you know, to do about salary. And, you know, I've got so many contacts that really have an issue talking about this. you know, even outside of a work context, you know, because it's that self-esteem thing. It's that thing, like you say, always kind of underplaying, oh no, I'm okay, you know, I'm doing all right. And actually, when you look at the skill sets, you know, to have that, you know, quite bold dialogue with colleagues, whether female, male, whoever, about this is my view about the financial recompense, but it's just a subject that's very much tiptoed round. You said something else that I think is really important there, you know, in terms of the modelling for young people as well. I think, you know, and I'm especially thinking here about my daughter, you know, and the kind of dynamics, you know, she's seeing on social media, you know, YouTube, all the rest of it. I think that arguably more so, I think, for young women, girls, and I'm thinking the fact I've got 2 older sons as well, I think that girls growing up are trapped in this almost impossible situation where you don't want to appear too assertive for fear of being called bossy.
Yes.
So you back off, which means that you either settle for whatever your life narrative or those around you think you should be doing, or that you perceive they think you should be doing, or the least path of resistance, those kind of classic predictable roles for girls. But then I think that there's a lot of pressure also from an early age, it not to be okay to take your time choosing your path.
Yes.
So those girls and young women that might actually be very bright, very switched on, very capable, that perhaps don't quite have a sense yet, you know, they're finding their feet, they're growing up, they're finding their path in life, but they fear committing too early to something, then it can be perceived as a hesitance, you know, as an inability to decide. And then that thing around, well, you know, she's not very decisive, so, you know, she couldn't possibly have a leadership position, could she, if she doesn't even know what to do? You know, so I think that is definitely, in my view, a dynamic that affects girls and young women more as well.
Ultimately, in terms of the importance of having more women in leadership, because we live in this world, women live in this world as well. So if we're going to have decisions that are balanced decisions, it's important to have balanced genders in terms of looking at the decisions. So
Definitely.
there are a lot of decisions that have been made, and you know, nothing against men at all. And for me, it's very much about balance as opposed to equality in the sense where you have a board where decisions are made by men. They want to help us, but they'll look at it from their own angle. And so we need more women that can sit in those decision-making positions where they can represent what actually a woman, so to say, would stand for, so that when we're going forward, decisions are balanced.
Yeah.
Well, Susanna, it's been lovely chatting with you, and keep chatting. Let's keep educating each other, and let's keep supporting each other.
Fabulous.